Maya bought her first house at 29. So did her college roommate Dana. Same neighborhood, same year, same mortgage payment landing on the same day every month. 3 years later, Maya got a promotion offer. Across the country, 40% more money. She took the call, asked for the weekend to think, and called back Monday to say no. Not because she didn't want it, because she didn't need it. She could afford to pass. Dana got the same kind of offer the same year. She took it before they finished the sentence. She had to. The math didn't give her a choice. Same house, same starting point, two completely different relationships with money. And the gap between them wasn't income, it wasn't discipline, and it wasn't luck. It was which stage they were in, because there are exactly 4 points on the net worth number line where your entire psychology around money quietly resets, and most people don't even know they exist. Stage 1. Below $10,000, survival mode. The first stage doesn't have a glamorous name. It's just survival mode, and it's exactly as exhausting as it sounds. Here's what defines it. You are one bad month away from a crisis at all times. A transmission goes, a tooth needs a root canal, your landlord raises the rent, and suddenly you're not just dealing with a bill, you're dealing with a cascade, because there's no buffer between you and the event. Princeton researchers ran a study on this in 2013 that changed how a lot of people think about poverty. They recruited participants across a range of incomes and had them think about a financial shortfall. Nothing dramatic, just an unexpected expense. Then they tested cognitive function. People under financial stress consistently scored lower on problem-solving and impulse control measures. Not because they were less capable, because their working memory was already occupied. The researchers put a name to it: bandwidth tax. Your brain has a fixed amount of cognitive bandwidth. When part of it is permanently running a background process, can I cover this? What if something breaks? What happens if I miss this payment? Less is available for everything else. For your job, your relationships, your parenting, your long-term decisions. That's stage 1. It doesn't feel like a net worth problem. It feels like a focus problem, an energy problem, a sleep problem. But the root is the same. The exit from stage 1 is a real emergency fund. 3 months of actual expenses, sitting somewhere boring and accessible. It doesn't feel exciting. It doesn't compound impressively. But it ends the bandwidth tax. And the cognitive clarity that comes back when it ends is something most people don't anticipate. Stage 1 removes the fear of the unexpected. That's worth more than it sounds. Stage 2, $100,000. When the math starts working for you. Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's late business partner, a man worth billions, was once asked what the most important financial milestone was. His answer wasn't retirement. It wasn't $1 million. He said the first 100,000 is the hardest stretch, and you just have to get through it however you can. Because after that, the game changes. He was right, and the math proves it. Say you're investing $10,000 a year with a 7% average annual return. Getting from 0 to 100,000 takes roughly 7 or 8 years. That period is a slog. You're doing almost all of the work. Every dollar in that account is a dollar you personally earned, saved, and chose not to spend. The market is contributing, but modestly. Now watch what happens. Going from 100,000 to 200,000 doesn't take another 8 years. It takes about 5. From 200 to 300, under 4. And here's the part that should actually make you sit up. Going from 500,000 to $1 million takes roughly the same time as that original 0 to 100 stretch. Except now your money is doing 10 times the work. At 100,000 invested at 7%, your portfolio generates roughly $7,000 a year on its own. That's not a metaphor. That's a real number appearing in your account while you're at work, asleep, on vacation, doing anything else. The psychological shift at this stage isn't about feeling rich. It's subtler than that. It's the first time the math is genuinely on your side. Up until now, saving felt like swimming upstream. At 100,000, the current starts to help. I think about this stage a lot because it's the one where most people quit. Right before the inflection point, the slog feels permanent. It's not. But you have to get stubborn enough to outlast it. Stage 2 removes the fear of the treadmill. Stage 3, $500,000 to $1 million. Your money gets a job. At $500,000 invested at 7%, your portfolio generates about $35,000 a year. Every year, from nothing but the money you already accumulated. For perspective, $35,000 is roughly what the median American worker earns from a full-time job. Write that again. At $500,000, you have what is functionally a second income. One that doesn't call in sick, doesn't get passed over for promotion, and doesn't have opinions about your vacation schedule. At $1 million, that same 7% throws off around $70,000 a year. That exceeds the median American individual income. Your portfolio is now out-earning most full-time salaries while you sleep. This is the stage where something quiet changes in how you carry yourself at work. It's not arrogance. It's the specific internal shift of knowing you have a real choice. You can stay. You can leave. The job is no longer the only thing standing between you and financial ruin. That knowledge alone changes how you negotiate, what you're willing to tolerate, and how you respond when someone in power asks you to do something you think is wrong. It also removes friction from smaller decisions. You stop doing the math on every line item at the grocery store. You book the direct flight instead of the 2 layover savings play. When an appliance dies, the crisis lasts 4 minutes. None of these are luxuries. They're just decisions you used to make under stress that you now make without it. Now, here's the trap hiding in this stage. Researchers call it the hedonic treadmill. Every time income goes up, spending has a gravitational tendency to rise with it. The promotion funds a nicer car. The nicer car becomes normal within a year. The thrill resets to zero, but the payment stays. This is how households earning $300,000 still end up living paycheck to paycheck. Their money never gets the chance to compound because every dollar gets drafted the moment it arrives. Stage 3 removes the fear of being trapped. The trap is spending your way back in. Stage 4, $2.5 million plus, buying back your time. There's a concept in personal finance called the 4% rule. It comes from decades of research testing how much you can withdraw from a portfolio annually without ever depleting it. The number researchers kept landing on? 4%, which gives us a shortcut. Multiply your annual spending by 25, and you have the portfolio size where your investments can fund your life indefinitely. Spend $60,000 a year, your number is $1.5 million. Spend $100,000, it's $2.5 million. That's the point. Not a rounding error, not a fantasy. The mathematically derived threshold where work becomes optional. And this is where the research gets genuinely uncomfortable. For years, the dominant study on money and happiness said happiness flatlines at around $100,000 in annual income. Past that point, more money stops moving the needle. Then researcher Matthew Killingsworth tracked over 1 million real-time mood reports and found the opposite. Happiness kept rising with income, with no ceiling visible in the data. Both findings are real. The resolution at which the two research teams eventually worked out together is that more money keeps improving well-being for people who are already reasonably content. But for people whose unhappiness runs deeper, money relieves suffering up to a point and then stops. Because their unhappiness was never really caused by money, and no net worth can purchase your way out of a problem that money didn't create. Stage 4 is the stage where people who did this for the wrong reasons find out. The number arrives. The anxiety doesn't leave. The purpose didn't come pre-installed. The people who get here and feel different are the ones who knew exactly what they were buying. Not things. Time. They're finite, non-renewable, genuinely irreplaceable hours back from everyone who used to own them. Stage 4 doesn't remove a fear, it removes the owner. Back to Maya and Dana. Maya didn't take that job offer because she'd crossed a threshold that gave her something more valuable than the salary. The ability to say no without her stomach dropping. Dana isn't behind because she's less disciplined. She's behind because she's still in stage 2, doing the slowest, most thankless part of a journey that gets dramatically easier once you clear it. The 4 stages aren't a judgment. They're a map. And the most important thing a map can do is show you where you are, because you can't plot a route from a location you won't name. Most people optimize income. What actually moves the needle is the bucket, the size of what stays. One last thing before I let you go. The hardest part of this whole journey is the stretch to that first $100,000. The part where it's almost all you, the market is barely helping, and the progress feels invisible. Almost everyone who quits right there. Don't be that person. Drop a comment telling me which stage you're climbing toward right now. I read them. And if you want the specific moves to cross that first line fastest, I made a full video on it. It's right there on your screen. See you in it.